They say all men are created equal. Shot! Master! I pull out the Glock! Full of suffering, succotash, son!
One of your nuts is hanging out of your shorts.
Real glass!
You have a father, but your father's dead.
Hi everyone, welcome back to the Too Sweet podcast with Lucy and Estelle. The team's back together. I'm back. Thanks for holding the fort up last week, Estelle. I thought you did an amazing job. I'm not going to lie, that was like my favourite episode so far, I think.
It was very chaotic, so I'm glad that we've got some. Well, I don't know, it might be more chaotic this week. I can't wait to talk about this show because there was just a lot of like interesting stuff I found and a lot of things that I want to ask your opinion on.
There was a lot of weird, crazy moments that had me thinking, like, what am I watching right now? So yeah, totally agree.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, let's just get into it. Let's start then.
Yeah, so it opened up with an 8-man tag, which is kind of wild because it just felt a bit abnormal because normally we've been conditioned to expect these for the main event, and obviously here this was at the opener, but the main event was yeah, it's very overstimulating. The main event was OC vs Yuta because you want to centre that around the world title, so it makes a lot of sense, and it was refreshing. But yeah, and I just want to point out Davis returning from a 416-day absence. That's gone fast, hasn't it? I mean, I'm sure it hasn't for him, but for me, that's gone fast.
Yeah, I didn't realise it was that long.
Yeah, crazy. So there's a question that's been going around on Wrestling Reddit, which is who is the main character of AEW, and a lot of people have a lot of different answers. And the start of this match, just Ospreay's presence and his aura and the way he connects with the crowd, and I always comment on it. For me, it's Will Ospreay. I'm sorry, Will Ospreay is the main character of AEW. But I wanted to ask who do you think is the main character?
A few weeks ago, we were saying it was Adam Cole, weren't we? Like the world revolves around him. Yeah, I know. I agree. I don't think anyone else stands out the way Ospreay does, to be honest. So yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah.
Especially in this, Hobbs and Mark Davis just sort of look like chumps. Like I don't know, they just sort of didn't get their own entrances, and they're sort of compared to Ricochet and Ospreay, like especially, they just sort of faded in the background in this. I don't know. They just seem like these are not big stars, guys. These aren't the people we're focusing on in this.
Yeah, I was gonna say other than maybe Swerve would be like my other person that I'd like bet on. And I know there's a lot of people said like Orange Cassidy, and Mox because of their face value and what they represent. But I don't know if I'd like swing it that way. I think for me it's definitely Swerve and Ospreay, but
Yeah,
it's interesting.
that is
Make a whole themed podcast episode on that. Who's the main character of AEW?
I was just about to say that we could delve into this. It's a great.
Right, anyway, let's stop getting sidetracked. Be concise. I thought, in terms of not being concise, the camera felt really weird at the start of this episode, but I don't know if that's just because it was a small arena, because the ramp was absolutely tiny. Like, you took 2 steps off the freaking Tron bit, the gorilla, and then like you're at the ring. I was like, what the hell?
Yeah, the production was definitely different. Like the set was different. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I know next year they're running only in small arenas, so to
Yeah.
all of y'all bitching and moaning, I'm glad you're getting that wish. Weird hill to die on, but okay. It's going to be weird to adjust to like the production, because obviously at the start of this is what I think it's going to be like, and similarly to, I think that's why me and you had that complaint about Collision, is that we were like, it felt produced really weird, but I think that's because it is significantly smaller than Dynamite, and it's just getting used to those angles and trying to maneuver it around to make it look and feel as full as possible.
Yeah, that is very true. Hopefully it won't be as like big of a adjustment as it is like watching Collision. Like, it won't be so jarring, I guess, for
Yeah.
what we'll see.
So Davis and Takeshita, they had a little spa. It was, as I say, it's always lovely to see Takeshita with someone of a similar build. And I knew Davis was big, but in my mind, like, Takeshi's just like the biggest person there is. Like, in my mind, like width and lengthwise, he's just fucking massive. So I'm just like, whoa, like, you're the same size. It's crazy. Hobbs, I got worked when he got escorted to the back after he'd tweaked his ankle. My God, I was
really?
stressing. Yeah, I was stressing. I was like, oh no, not again.
I mean, I think that's a valid
then, yeah.
reaction, because because obviously it did end up being a work, and I was kind of like, what was the point. It didn't land fully for me. I guess we'll get to that later, but it's a valid response for it to be like, oh, that's real. Because as a work, I don't know if it'll achieve the desired effect.
Yeah. And then like with Hobbs, it's like selling. I thought to me it did kind of work because I loved his selling of it when he came back, and then getting his shine with the forearms to each of them in the corner. Like it did work for me. Um, because his previous match that he had when he had his return, he got overshadowed. So I think still he
Mm.
got overshadowed in this, and it would have been nice to have seen him like pick up the pin. Um, but irregardless, I was still just happy I was just like thank fuck like it was a work. Maybe it was more
Yeah,
just relief of like, oh my God.
yeah, that is yeah, fair enough, and I agree. I guess my thing was just like, what's the follow up of this gonna? Is there gonna be any follow up? Has he got a match at Full Gear? I don't know. I
No.
don't know. It just seemed like quite a short-lived thing, and the crowd was really receptive to it, which was great. And he did look
Yeah.
strong, which I guess is the whole point. But I don't know. I was just kind of like, I don't know what we do with this.
Yeah. And then with Kyle Fletcher making the save to Takeshita, and he had it out with Davis, and that slap was personal. Um, it's just crazy to think 416 days, and you can count that as the absence of Mark Davis, but the character work that Fletcher's done to go to the point of which this is his former teammate, and not only teammate, but someone who's been he's lived with and he's been in a team with for so long, to now just complete disdain. And if anyone's in the way of his goals or what he wants, he's going to strike out. And even if it's someone who he's got a long history with, and I know he kind of did that with Osprey, but like it hit different seeing it with Davis for me.
100%. And it's sort of like it's a full circle moment, isn't it? It's very
Yeah,
satisfying.
yeah. Um, Yeah, and then we had a little bit with Cal Fletcher and Osprey, which again just had my jaw open like the whole time. The struggle between like trying to get the pile driver on each other, the reversals, the flippy shit. It's just great. Um, and then we had the knee strike to Davis by Takeshita with the kinkiest pin in
Yeah,
existence. What
it
the
was
hell was that about?
very kinky. Yeah.
Oh, it was brilliant. Loved it. Love that. Um, so yeah, that was the match, and it was a lot of fun. Um, it was a
Yeah,
lot of fun.
it was. I thought it was very good, and especially towards the end, like what you said, like just non-stop. And yeah, and Takeshita, just his aura is, he's just like untouchable.
He is,
That
yeah,
the kinky pin was the cherry on the top of
yeah, that little choke. But for me with Eight Men, I always see it and I'm like, oh, can't be arsed with that. It just like every time I don't, and then every time I watch it with AEW, and I'm like, oh, that was really good.
it.
Like I really
Yeah,
enjoyed that. But I just can't be arsed. As soon as I see that graphic with Eight Men, I mean,
lots of meat, and you're like, oh, can't like I said
can't
at
be
the
fucked
start,
with
it's
that, love.
overstimulating as fuck.
Especially when it starts, because I just wasn't expecting it. But yeah, like you say, it was really good. And I mean, I feel like for the most part, everyone looked good. Lance Archer and Brian Cage did absolutely nothing for me. I
Yeah,
think Lance Archer is slightly better than Brian Cage, though. I will give him that. Brian Cage is the shits, man. Brian Cage is just like, oh, he's so bad, man.
I mean, he's got no defining qualities really, does he? Apart from he is big and that. Come on.
But even just watching, like, I don't know if he fully botched at the start, but like, it seemed like he was a bit slow to like get there, and it just wasn't good.
Yeah. The only thing that I liked from Brian Cage was this power bomb that he did on Ricochet. But to be fair, that was more on Ricochet than him. It was just the selling, and it just looked like he fucking died. Um, yeah. He's a big, strong man. He can do big, strong shit. But there's a lot of people on the roster like that. So
Exactly, exactly. So yeah, then we had Mox who's promoting his match at Full Gear, but I wasn't as interested in what he was saying as I was interested in the shot. So we've got Yuta sat down. He's the only one who sat down. Mox is sort of like massaging his shoulders, like kind of in like a fatherly way, but also in like a
Mm.
and like a controlling way, in like a dominating way. Then we've got Marina Shafir and Claudio, but they're looking down just at him. They're not even looking at Mox, and they are also stood up. And as I say, Mox's hands round his shoulders, but also like round his neck, like he could like choke him out. I just
Mm.
thought this was just great symbolism. Not too in your face, but just
Yeah,
get that
yeah,
in my art gallery.
yes. But yeah, I want to go to the art gallery, by the way. Like,
Yeah.
set that up, profit instantly. But yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And it was sort of as if they know that, like, they want the control over Yuta, like, as if he could, like, snap at any moment and try and attack them, and they're prepared for him to be, like, unpredictable sort of thing. So yeah, it was effective.
Yeah, and then we had Darby saying today is Claudio's day, but he sounded very unenthused. It was a very lackluster promo. He was like, everyone has his day, and today is your day. And then it was over, and it was like a bit pointless, but all right.
Very matter of fact. That reminds me as well, I forgot to mention Claudio speaking in, I think it was German, but I don't know, I don't speak whatever language.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if it was like Italian, his native language, whether it was German or like
Yeah, he can speak
what.
5 languages, fun fact. So
Oh.
one of those five. Yeah, that was fun. It's a bit more intense, isn't it?
Yeah. Then we had Renee. She was looking absolutely gorgeous tonight. She was serving a winter, the jumper, the makeup, beautiful.
She's everything I
Chef's
aspire
kiss.
to be in life. I'll never be that glam though.
Exactly. She's the standard. And she was waiting for her syndicate to arrive. MVP said he had an announcement, which was basically that Lashley would be in action tonight. And then Swerve went behind and struck Lashley with the chain, which played into later events.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, no real observations on that.
Adam Cole came out. I wrote that spray tando.
Yeah, I put down someone needs to host an intervention for Adam Cole's use of fake tan. Like, we need to get
Bad.
this under control.
Yeah, he needs to be on like Snog Mario Revive, and then they get like the makeup wipe and like orange. He says him and Roddy have a unified goal about his match at Full Gear, and he's going to support him. Kyle O'Reilly comes out, and he talks about the highs and lows and how he knows him through the lows. Adam Cole, that is, and so he knows him best, and that he needs to let go and stop having his friends fight his battles for him. He says MJF is more of an evil bastard than Cole will ever be, and that's a good thing. I thought this was a really interesting wrinkle to an otherwise uninspired feud.
Yeah.
Um, it it really, but I don't know because I don't know if it's like AEW sort of teasing me. Like it reminds me of Cody Rhodes with the Homelander stuff, and when you felt like he was going to go heel, but he wasn't. And
Mm,
it's like I feel like AEW is kind of holding my hand and kind of being like, yeah, this is what we're doing. Like you are going to see the destruction and the downfall of Cole, and he is going to be just as heel as MJF. Maybe they tag as heels. I don't know. I'd be into that. But I feel like that he has to have some kind of heel turn. I just don't see any other way about it. And it would be nice if he had that heel turn prior to his match with Max. But yeah, I just love this that like this is going to be the destruction of Adam Cole. But I think what Kyle O'Reilly doesn't realize is like this is the way I have always read Adam Cole's characters. This is who he always is. Adam Cole's always been this conniving, evil, scheming bastard.
mm,
Just all a front.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, and basically like Kyle telling him you need to let it go, and he wasn't wrong. I thought it was a good promo from Kyle, and yeah, I think this has the potential to be quite bland if we are going to go down the line of just Cole being a face and just being, I don't know, just yeah, it's just boring. I love that idea of just him going full like MJF has turned him into this person that he never wanted to be. But yeah, that line that you said, MJF is more of an evil bastard than you will ever be, and that's a good thing. I love that. That was
Sounds good, isn't it? Like because I feel like
yeah.
the ego of Adam Cole, the Adam Cole that I know from years gone since, Deep down, I'm reading it as his internal monologue, being like, "Who the hell do you think you're talking to?
Yeah.
You want to see evil bastard? I can be evil bastard." But it's scary because you don't know whether they are just doing it down the vanilla route of like,
Yeah.
his friend is here and he's trying to save him from going down a dark path, or like whether he's actually going descending. And for me, what would make this more interesting is if internally he's already made his mind up. And if like there's sort of a climax later on down the road where like maybe he strikes Kyle, or he gets frustrated with Roddy for not being able to get the job done.
Yes. Yes.
We do something like that. That's what I'm wanting.
Yes. Yes. I'm here
Daniel
for
Bryan
that.
over here.
100%. Turns out, gets frustrated with Roddy for not getting the job done. A feud with Kyle down the line. I am here for it.
Yeah,
100%.
and everyone expects him to be like, so MJF beats the shit out of Roddy on Saturday, right? Everyone expects him to be like upset and like go to his friend and comfort him. But imagine if he just comes down and just kicks the shit out of him
Yeah.
because he's frustrated.
Love that.
Imagine that.
Love that.
Probably won't happen. Too high of an expectation.
Let's not get our hopes up.
But then, like we've said for the past weeks, they need to do something like that, something radical to spin this around because, yeah, it's just not working. Next up, we had an Orange Cassidy promo. He was with Rocky Romero, Ishii, and Briscoe. He says they have his back, but Cassidy says no one else is going to get hurt. Oh my God, the way that they put this on after the Adam Cole thing, where Adam Cole's been like, he's all right with his friends taking the fall, but Orange Cassidy isn't. Ooh, was like,
that's very subtle.
Juicy.
That is an acute observation.
Chef's kiss, man. I love it. I love the theme of that. And also it contrasts how Moxley needs the Death Riders, which at the end with the beatdown, he has no qualms having a group of people around him, but Cassidy's valiant and he's saying no. And that contrasting that to the Adam Cole situation and the Death Rider situation just makes him even more of like a hero, but you know it's going to be his downfall because later on commentary, they were talking and they were like, I think it was during the beatdown of Cassidy, and they were like, the whole locker room needs to band together. And maybe, you know, me and Lucy have got it wrong. Maybe it isn't one person. Maybe Darby isn't going to come in and fix it. Maybe it's a team of people that need to come in and fix it.
Yeah, because what commentary said, like you just mentioned, they were like, oh, it's not going to take just one person. It needs a collective, organised, uniform effort.
A collective. That sounds like a name, doesn't it? I could just see him doing that. The collective.
The collective. I swear that isn't that a thing already?
I don't know.
Like that rings a bell.
Do you remember? Who remembers welcoming committee? That always cracks me up, man. Why the fuck were they called the welcoming committee? Stupidest thing ever. I love a shit faction name. It really like gets me going. While Lucy researches that, I'm just gonna go into Stat versus Shida. This was a very
it's not a thing.
Copy and paste. It's not a thing. So no, they can run that if they want. We've got Stat versus Shida. This to me was very basic. It was very A to B, and it wasn't what you want for a go home show. It did absolutely nothing. Many times I say I'm not into the whole people just having a video package or having a promo from a distant location, but in this case I think it would work because this was just like, the match itself was fine, but it was so like the in-ring work wasn't boring, but the concept is boring of like Shida. I did enjoy Shida choking Stat out with her own arms. That's what's cool. Shida coming off strong, then there's a picture-in-picture, then Stat regains control and Stat picks up the win. But it doesn't make her look weaker or stronger. It just adds zero aura. Like, it was just very unneeded and very unnecessary.
Yeah, exactly. And especially because, you know, given her match this weekend, that there's no way she's going to lose. And they even sort of implied that on commentary. So on top of everything else, it just made it even more, like, boring. Like you said, it wasn't a bad match. But it's very formulaic, like what you just mentioned, how it goes to picture in picture, and then, you know, that match psychology is very uniform, and you just sort of expect it, and yeah,
and for it to be the only women's thing really on the show and the only women's match, and this is for the TBS title, it's not great. It's pointless, I wrote, and then she helped Shida up. Monet came out with Camille with her arm in the sling, and she tells Camille to go in and finish the job.
Oh
This was
my
quite
God.
entertaining at least.
Did you? Oh my
But
God, I found it really
shit,
cringe.
but it made me crack up how she's in there with a sling and then just like strikes Start, and then they both Sheeta and Start double team her. And then Mercedes struggles to get the backstabber on Stat, who goes for the Saturday Night Fever. So again, Statlander looks really, really strong. How the hell is she, but my question is, how the hell is this going to pay out at Full Gear? Because she has to win. Like, I feel like they've really booked her into a corner where, like, they've hyped her up so much, and to an extent that I would never have ever expected them to do against Mercedes Moné, the fucking prize dog. She has to win now, because if she doesn't, what the hell?
Just a prediction. I don't think she's gonna win. I think Mercedes is gonna win because I think the whole point,
But how?
like backhandedly, would be like, "Oh my God, look how good Mercedes is."
But
I
how can
totally
she
agree
win though?
with you,
Because
though.
even if it's with outside interference, they've undermined Camille so much that it would be. I've seen her take them both on. Like, fair enough if like she was distracted and one got her, but she can take both of them on at the same time. She's speared her through a drywall, for Christ's sake. Like, thrown them into cars, broken her arm. Like, I don't understand.
I know.
I just don't understand.
Yeah, it is daft, and you're right. It like logically, it's it's nonsensical. Um, but I don't think there is sense to it. I just don't see Mercedes losing.
Yeah.
Also,
And then
why would
yeah,
two faces attack someone with a broken arm? Like I was, what?
I think cause she laid the first blow.
Yeah, yeah. I just, oh, like I said, it just made me cringe so bad.
It's stupid. It's daft. It's daft, as Lucy says. Then we had MVP who attacked with Shelton Benjamin, a doppelganger. Don't really have a lot to say about that.
I was like, what?
Why does he have that coat?
Yeah.
Why does he look like? Who is this man?
I think did they try and imply on commentary that he did that like on purpose? I'm not. Nah,
I
I could be
think
wrong
so.
actually. I'm not sure, but yeah, that was very weird.
It was just weird. Lashley versus Jockey and Cheeseburger, who got a large pop.
Cheeseburger. Cheeseburger on AEW. He was wrestling in Leeds like 2 weeks ago.
Yo, local talent making mad moves. Yeah, he just slaughtered him. And again, pulled out the full Nelson. So again, that significance of that
Yeah.
move and the fatality of it.
Yeah.
Nana lures Shelton away from the ring. Swerve comes out from underneath the ring. House call to Lashley, and the Swerve stomp. And so he is looking strong, but again, I don't know, because Swerve seems to get the upper hand when he can be like conniving and he can be methodical and think out things. But what's he
Yeah.
going to do when it's just him and Lashley one on one? He's got to face that full Nelson. You know, it's going to be a different story. But I like how they both look super strong going into it.
Yes. Yeah, completely agree, totally. Like this was a bit of a pointless squash match, but I wasn't mad about it. Do you know what I
No.
mean? Like it just establishing him as the big strong badass that we already know that he is, but yeah, I wasn't mad about it at all.
I think it was just cool to like see Lashley in action. Like, why
Yeah.
not? And yeah, you compare this to Stat versus Monet and how the imbalance of
Yeah,
one
right.
opponent looking way too strong
Yeah.
compared to the other one.
Yeah, exactly. Even though on paper you'd think that, oh, Bobby Lashley, obviously, like just because of his star power, whatever. But yeah, exactly what you said. The way they booked it is very equal.
Yeah, because it's like with the Monet thing. I'm sorry to keep going back to it. It's a no win, because if Stat wins, it's just going to be like, what?
Yeah,
She's gone over like this person that you've protected for so long. Or B, Stat loses, and it's just illogical, because it's like, but clearly they don't care about logic when it comes to Stat's character because of how they did
No.
the heel to face, and then now suddenly she's OP. It's just
She just defies
bizarre.
all logic.
I do love her though. I do love her. Then we had Mariah and Mina. They're doing a champagne championship celebration. Is this at Full Gear or at Rampage?
I think they said on Rampage because they're like, we're gonna turn
Right.
it into Glampage.
Right, so that's on Rampage. So why not just do it on Dynamite? But fair enough. Darby versus Claudio. These two work really well together.
Yeah, that's great.
It was pretty much like all the other spats that they've had. You know, they had the ragdolling of Darby, we had the giant swing to the ring steps. We had the crazy spot of launching Darby from the commentary desk to the timekeeper's table. Him wrapped up in the table cover absolutely sent me. Um, and Darby breaks the count as Claudio rolls his eyes, which really popped me. It's like, for fuck's sake, and gave him a lariat. And yeah, the 1, 2, 3. So
Yeah, I
pretty good.
thought this was a great match, and yeah, it's just obviously we all know that Claudio's really strong, but I think Darby does a really good job of selling and helping that come across even more, and just making him look amazing. And like the contrast of Darby having to like resort into like using the ring and stuff and trying to be resourceful and edgy to try and counteract it because he knows that like athletically he's just can't match him. And yeah, like you say, he just took some hilarious bumps in this and basically died like 100 times. So yeah, it was very enjoyable.
Yeah, and it's like with Darby with his selling, it's not even sell. It just doesn't protect himself. Like if he,
Right, yeah.
most people, if they're getting launched to the floor, they're gonna like put their hands up or like land on their back. But I guess it's like that skater background of I'll just take
I'll just
all the
fall.
damage, all of it. And I think it's great because it speaks to how, yeah, wink, wink, Darby's going to be the one to overthrow Mox, but this is the hubris of Darby Allin, is that he is too overzealous and he can't, he's not at a place yet where he's like modified his style to take on an opponent like Claudio, and Claudio is formidable, and the Death Riders should be feared individually, not just as a group. But you look at Orange Cassidy and he's kind of like altered his style, and that's how he's able to like he's had to even alter his character to meet Mox. So maybe I'm not saying change Darby's character completely or anything like that, but maybe just a bit more maturity and a bit
Yeah.
more, I don't know, someone who is willing to like step up to the plate, I guess.
Yeah, he needs to do some character development, doesn't he? He needs to have these like fallbacks, these roadblocks to be able to do that self-reflection and achieve that.
Yeah. Then we had Private Party thoughts on the four-way, but who gives a shit about that? Because Big Justice and AJ were here. Oh, I'm so obsessed with the Costco guys. Like, I just love them so much. Like, they just bring me so much joy.
I don't want to sound like out of touch or something, but I don't understand like where they came from. And I'm not
You've not seen the We're Costco guys? Like, the OG video? We're Costco guys.
No, I haven't seen the original video.
So those like videos like, we're Costco guys. Of course we have a double chunk chocolate cookie. We're Costco guys. Of course we have a chicken bake. And it was just like this really chill video. But then that went viral. And then like they were just like reviewing loads of things. And did this thing where they're like, we're gonna give the double chunk chocolate cookie boom, and then like that became a thing, right? Then like they involved the whole fucking family. There's like the mum, there's like Uncle Angelo, the sister, they're all in on it. And then then they've been on like Jimmy Kimmel show, late night, SNL, whatever it is, I don't know, one of them. And yeah, they were like popping off. But then the Rizzler man, then he got brought into it. Then like he's part of the universe. Then they started making songs.
Yeah, I've seen the songs, but I get it. I was like, I mean, I'm into it, but I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, we bring the boom. That's what we do. And then they're still bringing it. And then they've now released a Christmas boom song, which is like,
No way.
bring the Christmas boom. And then the Rizzler's got a verse on it, right? And
Nice.
then AJ, he is the dad, and he's been a wrestler like 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And then QT Marshall, I think, saw it go viral, and he was like, come to AEW. Which it cracks me up how people just bring randomers into AEW. Like the fact that Gypsy Rose came to
Yes,
AEW
I
because
knew
of Ricky
you were about to
Starks.
say that.
It's just class. But the hate, you know what's really cracked me up, right, is the hate online is obviously this has been viral, so AEW is posting it online and people are like, this is the top feud in AEW. No wonder no one watches it anymore. Like the
Oh,
Fed fanboys, man, like
oh my
they are
God.
fucking raging about this.
They're being
Meanwhile,
worse.
you've got fucking Travis Scott on fucking premiere episode of Raw. Like you have such a fetish for like random pop culture icons, Snooki, bloody the Paul brothers, fucking
Snoop Dogg.
Snoop Dogg. So don't come over here just because we're having. And also, all the people who are hating on the Costco guys, you just hate fun. And do you know what? It doesn't make you cooler just because you hate fun, like, and you don't like cringe. Oh my god, I'm so sophisticated. I'm watching
I
WWE.
like
I'm watching this. Like,
serious wrestling.
you're watching some. Being a wrestling fan's embarrassing. Like, why are you trying to create like some kind of superiority complex over watching half naked men pretend to fight each other? Get a fucking grip.
I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more. Yeah, yeah, yeah. If people, well, again, it's not even the main feud. You're just getting worked. Like you're just getting angry over fake
Yeah, but people are like
scenarios.
legit, legit. They're like, this is why they can't fill an arena. I'm like, it's literally a throwaway match on like a pre-show. Like,
And
what are you on
I'm
about?
looking forward to it. It's gonna bang. I have no
Yeah, I
doubt.
hope so. I hope so. Um, anyway, MJF sees a homeless guy, throws the change on the ground, so we got some shades of American Psycho there.
Why was he cutting a promo in the middle of a car park, right, frequented by homeless people? I was just very confused. I mean, I know the point of it was to show the classism and stuff and about Roddy and his upbringing. I get that.
Yeah,
But I'm
I
just
think
like,
that's why.
what are you doing there, MJF?
So with Roddy, I knew because I'd heard him speak about the fact like his parents were addicts. But and then like he obviously grew up in a trailer park and he had a tough childhood. But I had no idea that his mum shot his dad until this promo.
Me
Is
neither.
this knowledge
This
that
is
you had as well? I
no,
imagine in the dark about that.
this is news to me. I didn't know this. I did she kill him? Because you can shoot someone and they don't die. Like that wasn't really cleared up. I don't know.
It's true. I haven't done like a deep dive since on his lore after, but yeah,
Fair
he was
enough,
talking
deep
about
cut.
that. It
That was
was. He wants
yeah.
to make an example out of Roderick. He's going to win, and his mum should have shot him instead of his dad. That's what he's going to wish. So typical
That is
MJF.
so Max. Oh, how edgy of you.
And then just bringing it back to the Costco guys again. The Rizzler is going to be there. The Rizzler guys. He's going to be there on Saturday.
Is he
I
going to
love
be
him so
the
much.
timekeeper? Because said he's going to ring the bell or something. Special guest
That
timekeeper. Yes, bring that back.
the Rizzler makes me maternal. Like I don't want kids, but like he's so cute. I could actually cry.
Getting
I'm
emotional over
unstable.
the Rizzler right now.
Yeah, getting broody over the Rizzler man. Anyway, then we're gonna link it back to the MJF stuff now. Roderick was out with Bennett and Taven and Shivani, and he said he doesn't want the sympathy. He feels sorry for Max, and he's broken the cycle. So even though I think yeah, it was a bit generic in that Max finds like the coldest thing he can say, and he goes for the jugular, it did make me connect more with Roddy and this promo, and it made him more sympathetic, and so I think it was like a good choice to put that in. That was my takeaway.
Yeah, I agree. It made him so much more likable. And now that's not, I'm not at all trying to say that you need to bear all your trauma for me to like you, but just there's
Oh no,
something
I'd say
about
that.
him. There's something about him that like lacked humanness before. So like bringing this was
Yeah,
like you
that's
said, just
such.
sympathy.
That's it. Yeah.
Although I thought his promo was a little bit wooden. I don't know. Just if I can critique it a little bit, I don't think Roddy's the best at doing a live promo. But
No, I think he's more just like a pure wrestler, TM. Um, but obviously I think he did really well when he had his heel character in the Adam thing. Like that was pretty good. I think he fits well in like a comedy role, but it is nice to, as you say, like have that shade of humanization in there, and I think that that's what it does, and it, you know, it just gives you something to cling to, doesn't it? I guess
yeah,
that's what you need. But it's like it's a contrast of MJF is so reliant on his childhood and adult trauma.
Yes.
He's constantly bloody trauma dumping, but he's like, this is why I'm a dick. Whereas Roddy's like, but I'm not. Like, I've been through some shit too, but I'm a man of principle. So that's interesting. So next we're going to move into another crazy part of the show. So on Collision, if you didn't see, Jack Perry was attacked by Daniel Garcia, who then chained him to his own scapegoat bus, and they like drove off with him like on the hood of the bus. That was pretty funny. So now we've got the fallout of this. So they're in this like I don't know, basement garage or something, and Garcia's got Jack Perry again. It's pretty kinky. He's like all chained up, baby. He's all taped up, and I don't know. This was after it. I'm sorry, I'm jumping ahead. They had a video package first, rehashing all this, and then he's hostage, and they just had like this was quite long. They were just sort of having like a moment with each other.
Very charged with some sort of energy.
It's like that meme of like wrestling when I'm alone and it's just normal, and then it's wrestling when I'm watching it with other people. It's just something like this.
Yeah, 100%. This episode was quite a lot. Yeah, like you said, a lot of kinky shit going on. This wasn't even the last bit of BDSM in this show.
So obviously we continue with the theme of illegalities. We're murdering people, we're setting fire to property, we're now having hostages, we've had drive-bys in the past. Yeah. And then essentially he had like this wrench or some kind of, I don't know, like crowbar or something, Daniel Garcia.
Oh, maybe it sort of looked like a hockey stick. Don't know.
It was some kind of like metal weapon. And he went up to Jack Perry, but instead of hitting him, he hit the van, which was like dastardly, but I just wish like he would have hit him with it. And this is the thing that I always say about weapons in wrestling, is it's so exposing. It's like the thing with a hammer where like instead of just smashing him on head, they just poke him. But what they could have done is he could have hit him, and they could have like made a sound like on the floor or something for impact, and then the camera could have shook away upon impact. I feel like that would have been the way that I'd have gotten around it though, because I feel like it's just like you've taped the man up and you're shouting in his face and you're not torturing him, like you're not like doing anything. You just destroy his car and then walk off. I was like, that's so anticlimactic.
All this effort.
And then Jack Perry's just laughing. Like, what is this?
He was all there for it. Yeah, like all that effort.
Hell yeah, baby.
For nothing. And Jack Perry was like, is that all you got?
Yeah, exactly. And then that made it worse. Freaking Jack Perry called him out. He's like, is that all you got?
Yeah.
And then he just walked off. It was just like, I don't know. It just needed a bit more.
Yeah. Well, to me, like I sort of thought that maybe Garcia was having some sort of internal conflict, like, oh, I don't want to be this bad person, but it's like, are you morally sound or are you just stupid? You've got this person all tied up, you can literally do anything, and then you just use this weapon to put out the headlight in his car. Ooh, wow.
If you're going to take it there, you need to take it all the way there.
Yeah.
You can't do something like that. It's like the swerve thing when he went to Nick Wayne's, the Wayne training facility, and there was blood. It felt real. It felt scary. He took it all the way there. This just felt like hokey, and like, we all understand there's rules in pro wrestling, and when we watch pro wrestling, we understand that we're going to be protected to some extent. That there's almost a deal balance that the wrestlers make with you as the audience. So when you watch something like the death match at Full Gear, it's very jarring because that goes beyond the promise of what you are. It pushes the envelope. Yeah. But this was very hokey, and this was very much like it was very WWE to just like hit the. And if that was the intention, like, do that from the start, like, just I don't know, like, just do the car angle, don't do the kidnapping angle, and the car, and it's just, and if he'd have actually injured him with the weapon, then it would actually impact the match, because how is this going to impact the match? Like, he's just a bit pissed off that he's knocked in his headlights. What?
Yeah, that is so true. That is such a good point. Yeah, like, what? Does this have ramifications, really? No, it doesn't. It's just like Garcia's done this for the crack. He's done it for the shits and giggles, you know.
Which is a shame because I think this match it could be like a star making match for both of them, and I feel like they have a lot to prove because they don't have like a mentor to kind of hide behind in this. It's just up to them two.
Yeah.
And they've kind of got lost in the shuffle, which is kind of crazy because they've really been working their asses off on this feud, both of them, to like make it mean something. And they've been doing angles, and you can tell that they've been both creatively involved and trying to push the envelope, like I say, but it's just gotten a bit lost and there's so much other stuff going on the card that this is like a bit of an afterthought. So hopefully the match can bring it back around.
I'm sure it will. I have high expectations for it.
Yeah. Then we had something else that was weird but hilarious. And actually hilarious. For a Jericho segment, it had me laughing. So, and not at him, with him. So this was good. Jericho was with ECE and they're signing a contract. But Jericho say it hasn't been covered by his legal team. Renee says it has. And he's like, I need to get the illegal legals on it. And he walks off and then he becomes enamored by his own poster. At which point, ECE comes out and he just starts to do like this whole Michael Myers chase down to the ring.
This is not an original joke from myself. I'm not trying to steal someone else's joke, but someone put, and I can't remember who it was. My apologies. Put on Twitter. This is exactly what it's like when a guy approaches you in the club. It's so accurate.
True. That is so accurate. Yeah. He's just stalking him, and the way like Jericho was like pushing things into his path, people, bins, and him just continuing. It was so funny. And then they make it down to the ring, and he's like, I don't have a pen. Ishii does. And then Brian Keith and Big Bill beat down Big Tom, which always pops me, Big Tom, when they say that. Jericho gets ready to stab Ishii with the pen, but Briscoe and Rocky Romero come out, and in the end he does sign it, and Ishii stands tall. So for something that I really did not give a fuck about, like, that was pretty entertaining.
It was, yeah. It was creative, wasn't it? It was different and it was funny. So yeah, especially for a Jericho segment, it was good.
He's going to be like reposting it on TikTok and posting it on Instagram for years. That like, do you remember this time when I did this? It was so funny. It cracked me up on his podcast where he's always like, the Friendship Festival. Oh, it was the greatest thing ever. Like, it were good and we all liked it, but like, because you go on about it so much, his ego is crazy, man. He loves that friendship. If you ever listen to podcasts, anytime someone talks to me, always brings it up and he always brings it. He's like, and they wouldn't let me do it. I wanted to do it, and they wouldn't let the match at WrestleMania, and it's just like. So be prepared, because this is going to be one of those things that we're going to hear about forever. I can just tell.
It's going to beat it like a dead horse.
Yeah. And we had another cryptic Julia Hart video package. She's coming back. And then we had our main event, which was Orange Cassidy versus Wheeler Yuta. Yuta was very aggressive from the gate, and he kept up that level of aggression the whole match, which is not easy to do. Orange was matching the energy, but I appreciated how Orange Cassidy really tried to bring across that he's trying to get this done as soon as possible, and Yuta wants to hurt and make an example. And Orange is just trying to survive this to get to Saturday where he's got his actual real battle. So I really loved how both of that was communicated very well through the wrestling.
Yeah, definitely. It's like Orange didn't want to hurt him, like his old friend. I thought the storytelling in this was really, really good.
Yeah, and that part of the key parts of me was the cross pile driver, and then those raining driving elbows, and then the cattle mutilation that Yuta did on Orange Cassidy in consecutive succession.
Yeah, I thought that pile driver was so cool. I've not seen that before, I don't think. Like the cross-legged pile driver, I thought it was very, very awesome. And also like how Wheeler is emulating Danielson, like despite everything that's happened, that's still his mentor and that's still someone who he looks up to. So he's still using some of his moves. I thought I just loved that because he's aggressive now and he's also more confident. I thought he seemed a lot really, really confident in this match, but he's not 100% like he got his own identity. So he's with the Death
Yeah.
Riders, and also like he's harking back to Danielson. So he's still
Yeah,
in
yeah,
his
with the cattle mutilation. Yeah, I love that. Love that. And that's again, it's that lack of identity. And it's like you say, it's not only just lack of identity with clinging to the Death Riders, but also clinging to Danielson,
yeah.
clinging to the mentor that he destroyed. And yeah, it's like those two personalities almost like fighting each other inside of him, that internal struggle. So then we had the frustration with the ref after he'd made him break up the 3 count with the rope break, and he grabs a chair, but Orange is able to catch him off guard by dodging it, and he delivers a roll up to him. So Cassidy picked up the win, and it was, yeah, just kind of caught him off guard. Really, really well done, I thought.
Yeah,
I liked it.
yeah, me too. I like the sort of detail of he's making mistakes. So like he's getting heated. He lost his cool, and that lost him that lost him the match. Whereas
Yeah,
like if you compare that to Claudio, for example, he didn't make a single mistake in his entire match, and he got the job done.
yeah.
Yeah, but like Wheeler was like he got frustrated. He got the steel chair. He was willing to throw the whole match away, and he didn't even manage to hit him with it. He just ended up losing. So he's still very flawed, and probably because of that internal conflict as well.
Yeah, and this is why Yuta's not able to be the best wrestler. It's not that he's not good enough. It's that he's got that so many people in his ear
Yeah,
that it's he's a completely different wrestler and it is costing him in the ring. But then from the Death Rider perspective, they're just going to see it as a moment of weakness. And I love that. Yeah, that's so significant that Claudio got the victory earlier and he didn't. And again, how I said the two things running into it, the frustration is what lost you at the match. But then Orange Cassidy wanting to end it quickly, which is what he did. He just saw a gap and took it.
yeah,
And yes, it wasn't the most statement worthy. He didn't get this super concise. He didn't give Moxley what he wanted, which is what he wanted him to like get really aggressive
yeah,
and destroy his former protege. And he didn't give him that. He didn't give him the satisfaction of doing that. He just went in and did it his way.
yeah,
So that's cool. And then we had the Death Riders coming down, with Pac taping Orange's hands into his pockets. I wrote it feels like a crucifixion. It's like symbolic.
mm,
Um, he gets struck by the five of them, sort of going round in a circle, taking turns, laying blows in. Total humiliation.
mm.
But Orange Cassidy, he's still got his bravado. He's mockingly doing the kicks, but he's struck down by Mox. At which point, after that, they leave. The conglomeration come down. They untie Orange, and then they put his hands in his pockets and he puts his sunglasses on. And the final shot from the show is this act of defiance. He's looking on. He's beaten. He's bloody. He's red. He's sweaty. He's fucked. But it's that little glimmer of hope
Yeah,
against the greater evil, and that is how we go into Full Gear. So that was Dynamite.
yeah, yeah, and it's like I guess the message is that he's not going to give up, and that's what he's taken into Full Gear is, yeah, he might get him down, Mox is going to get him down, but he's not going to give up. So, yeah, yeah, it also kind of kinky again, getting taped up.
Oh, yeah, they're loving it. They bought like some like Amazon fucking BDSM kit, and they were like, "Right, lads, who wants the tape? Who wants this? Who wants that?" I thought it was a weird show, but a fun show. Yeah, it had some faults, but overall, I would give it an 8.5 because I had a good time with it. I always have a good time with the go home shows, so I think they know how to book one. They know how to do it.
Yeah, I'd probably maybe higher than I would have initially given it, but having talked through it, there wasn't really, we didn't dwell on anything that negative, I guess, apart from the women's match.
Yeah, yeah, I just
So
thought it like flowed really, really well. It went really fast, and I thought there's so much subtle character work that was going
yeah,
on, and that is also why I enjoyed it so much.
it was very story driven, wasn't it?
Mm,
I can go with an 8.5.
she can live with that.
I can live with it. So we'll do some predictions for Full Gear then. Starting off with the pre-show. Big Boom AJ versus QT Marshall, which is the main event
Oh well, he's winning. Big Boom AJ, man. You already know.
with Rizzler interference.
His interference, yeah.
Um,
Beautiful catwit.
MJF versus Roderick Strong.
MJF, Roddy's getting beaten to a bloody pulp, and he's gonna make an example out of him. And again, like I've kind of fantasy booked that Adam Cole's gonna come out and have
Yeah.
a darker side to him, but probably not. He'll probably come down and be like, "How could you do this? How could you do
Oh,
this?" And
my
MJF will be
friend.
laughing. Yeah, and it'll be shit. So yeah.
Well, either way, I do think you're right. I do think MJF is going to win. And I hope that your fantasy booking is correct because that sounds so much more exciting. Next is Jay White versus Hangman Adam Page.
God, I forgot what's happening because like they didn't really have a presence on this show at all.
No. Was there like a very small video package
I don't
at some
remember seeing
point?
one.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was interesting, like no presence whatsoever.
I think
God.
I think Hangman's gonna win, but I want Jay White to win. But I think like just being realistic, I think they're gonna give it to him to like sort of level it out.
Yeah, I think you're right. And I think he's been going
Which
down
is
like
just like 50-50 booking. It's not the most exciting thing, but
I
it'll
think
be
that
a good match.
Hangman's been going down like the bit of a downward spiral. I don't think he needs another one, another loss. So
Yeah.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
Um, okay, then it's the AEW World Tag Team Championship match, which is Private Party versus the Outrunners versus Kings of the Black Throne versus the Acclaimed.
I think Private Party are gonna pick up the win again.
They've
And I
only
think
just won it, haven't they?
during this match it's gonna set out who is the who's going to be like their opponent going forward, and it's just going to be a fun showcase and just rejuvenate and interest in the tag division. So yeah,
Yeah, yeah, same. I'm quite excited for this. I think it'll be good. But yeah, they've only picked up the championships recently. Although I'd love to see the Outrunners pick it up. Maybe they can do a feud and win it down the line.
yeah.
So the AEW TBS Championship match, Mercedes Moné versus Chris Statlander.
I think Stat's going to win it because I just, yeah. We've talked. I feel it's been the main fucking thing I've talked
Yeah,
about. Yeah, I've explained it
talked
enough.
about we've covered.
Both options are shit, but that is the less shitter version.
I think Mercedes is going to win, and I think I've already explained why. And
Bad booking, baby.
I know I don't necessarily want her to win, but that's just what I think is going to happen. That's my gut instinct. Moving on to Swerve versus Lashley.
Lashley's winning.
He
Um,
kind of got to.
He's got to. It's a new signing, and it's as we said, the Hurt Syndicate. They've got to be established as some kind of threat or some kind of strong, whether that's for outside interference or whether it's through that full Nelson. And yeah, it's just Lashley, isn't it? He's got to win.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. That full Nelson's going to play into it big time. Jack Perry versus Daniel Garcia for the TNT Championship.
I know a lot of people think Daniel Garcia is going to win, but I think Jack Perry is going to keep the belt. I don't think Daniel Garcia winning it is, especially with the way this program's gone. Had they made it really, really hot, and it's not their fault, I don't think. Like it's just the way it's landed. I think yeah, give it to Daniel Garcia, but I think him winning it now will have no impact, and him
Yeah,
holding it it's just not the move. I think keep it on Jack Perry.
yeah. I don't think they've built up to it enough for Daniel Garcia to win. So yeah, I agree. Um, so the next one is Will Ospreay versus Kyle Fletcher. I'm really excited for this.
My gut says Fletcher.
Yeah, me too. I think he needs this win more, and I think it could
I'm
be
not saying it's a
too
complete clean
shenanigan-y.
victory.
Yeah,
Yeah, shenanigans, I think, but again, it's more interesting him winning than Osprey because it's gonna make Osprey think a little bit differently. I think about things maybe going
yeah,
forward and just I mean, the way that promo was, where he's like, "You've done nothing of significance. Your only significant thing you're going to do is verse me in this match, and then if he lost, you know." I don't know. I just think it'd be, yeah, I think it'd be nice, and I think if they want him to be a serious upper mid carder talent and have some legitimacy and start maybe going for some titles, then he needs to pick up the victory. And again, it's about establishing that being part of a faction isn't a bad idea, because if you join something like the Don Callis family or the Hurt Syndicate and you're always bloody losing, well, what's the point of preaching how good it is to be part of this? Well, and again, they've relaunched the fucking Callis family, aren't they? So they need to keep the reboot strong, I guess.
Yeah, they need to re-establish themselves, don't they? Yeah, I don't think it'll be a clean win, but yeah, I think Kyle Fletcher's gonna win this one. I think for all the reasons you just said, you got it spot on. So the last match is the main event. Well, you assume it'd be the main event. I don't know why it wouldn't be. For the World Championship, Jon Moxley versus Orange Cassidy.
Moxley's picking up the win. Cassidy's getting butchered, guys.
Oh, you do not think he's gonna have a good showing?
I think, yeah, to start with, but I think he's going to get absolutely butchered.
He's gonna be dead by the end, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be a dark pay-per-view. A lot of the heels are going to win, and it's going to make the faces have to retreat and rethink the strategy.
It's going to be a catalyst for some big changes going forward to like make that the difference.
To World's End. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. There's no world where Mox isn't winning.
I would agree. And that's the whole card. That's 9 matches. So yeah, be sure to let us know in the comments if you agree or disagree with our predictions and what you thought of this week's Dynamite. Are you looking forward to Full Gear? I am. I think it's a pretty stacked card, to be honest, and I think there's been a lot of really effective storytelling going into it. So I think it'll be a good one.
Yeah, for sure. It's a pretty interesting card, and I think like all the matches will have ramifications, win or loss, for all the characters going forward. And it's good. I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully get the review out on Sunday. That is the plan. But we'll see. We'll let you know.
Yeah. So keep an eye out for that, and make sure you subscribe if you haven't already, to make sure that you get all the updates as soon as you can, and turn notifications on. Is that a thing that people still do? I don't know.
Ring that bell, baby.
Yeah. Yeah, or if you're listening on Spotify, give us a follow, give us a rating. Yeah, thanks for listening.
I must bid you adieu, goodbye, and good night, bang!
I wish you died in the womb!